Hit record. Pull this up. All right, so you guys are seeing this, right? Okay. So, so let's skip ahead a little bit. So obviously, like I said, oh shoot, why did I delete that other recording? I could have just used this. Whatever. The biggest thing, since I'm going to go over it again, is on a DK, the things you want is obviously taunt. Wings help with the damage that you take from Pokeballs from Zamaja. You don't have to use stagger. It's more of a thing that I'm using because I'm a little bit more experienced. It uses a lot of stamina, but it does help your DPS. You want to always have Ellie Drain on for downstairs, as well as Wall with Infused Crusher, because it maximizes your penetration, so that usually mag comps will be at 100% cap. I'm gonna show. Oh, well, I'm gonna re-explain. So when Zamaja does her wavy hands, as you saw, I bashed right away, but you have 3 seconds until she actually drops somebody, and the longer that you let that go, the more that she stays in one spot and can do other mechanics. With that being said, you don't want to let it go over 3 seconds, because if she drops somebody, it's a chance at a death, making the Prog or the Griffin Heart, say if you're going for that, even harder. So I usually, when the second I see you do that, I count 1, 2, 3, and then I bash. When Kite comes up, I just step out to the side, honestly. If you're there with the group, the heal should be on you, so I generally I'm not holding my block. If the Kite is on me, you definitely want to be holding block, because the way that the Kite works is every second you're in there, every half second I should say, it increases, it ramps up in damage. And so by the time, if you were to sit in the entire time, you would go from getting hit for 500 damage in the beginning to 300, or not 300k, 3000 per every half second. You want to make sure you get to the tail as fast as possible, because if you get hit by Mind Blast, it's like the bombers in PvP. If it hits one person and kills them, it'll stack and blow up other people for even more damage. So you just want to make sure that you get there as fast as possible and turn this fat slug. Let's see. I think I'm going to skip a little bit ahead to the portal. Can you guys? You're good. Let's see. I'm going to skip to the portal really quick. So as you can see here, the mini tank should have been pulling these guys in. I think I try to help a little bit here. Couldn't reach the other one because it was too far. But that should be the mini tank's job and not necessarily yours. Let's see. Let's skip to portal. Okay, so here we go. Portal's gonna be up here. So in case you didn't know, when portal spawns for DPS and tanks, if you see, this is where we came in from. If you point yourself towards where you come in from, Zamaja will be there every single time. So that way you have a beginning point for DPS to start working on crystals, as well as the tank can get aggro right away, maximizing the time downstairs. So if you see it go through, she's gonna be right here in front of me. Taunt her, and what I do is I Ellie Drain the first 3 on one side, go to the first 3 on the other side. If she does a heavy, I just do my defensive ability, and I continue to Ellie Drain while blocking. There, those ones were too far. Another thing that I do in portals is I let her channel, for like I said earlier, for a few seconds before I bash her, so that it gives DPS more time per phase, because you only get the 2.5, roughly, phases down there to kill the crystals, thus extending their time down there. I would highly recommend using Earthgore, because especially down here when you're alone and you're relying on yourself, I let my health get below 50%, and then I hit my Dragon's Blood to give me that proc, and I just am able to sit there and it lets me heal me back up. So I'm going to finish Ellie draining these. She should be spawning the upstairs, so you want to make sure you obviously get to here as quick as possible. And you see, because I extended that roughly 2 seconds of the fight, almost every single crystal is now dead. So now they can run them. Here, if there's one that's close and you feel dangerous, like for example that one right there, that the guy ran that in, you could do that as a tank. But most of the time, if there's 2 DPS down there, there's no need to risk it. Let's see. Dang, I didn't think about Exy as well. So obviously when you come back up, you want to make sure you grab Taunt of the Monstrosity. Make sure that it's put on top of the mini so it's dying as fast as possible. And once the monstrosity is dead, then you can go relieve the tank that's upstairs. Here we're having death, so I'm making sure that stuff's getting chained in. And then if Zamaj is still doing something, then I'll probably try to go get a res, which I think I res this guy over here. Yeah. Might be a bit laggy. You just want to make sure that you can relieve your other tank as fast as possible, because they'll have to go down and do portal shortly. So when in XE, for example, there's going to be obviously 2 stacks. If you want to swap every Baneful, you can. As a DK, oh shoot, actually let me see if I can pull up a video. Oh no. Recently closed. Here we go. All right, we're good. No. Let's do a DK tank. Let's do the DK tank. And let's see. We're just gonna do this person's video. I'm gonna skip to the very end. So, as you can see, they're going all the way out here, so that when crushing happens, they can pull it away, because Baneful is going to be next. So when Baneful hits, which she's going to do right now, you want to make sure that you're as close to Zamaj as possible, so you're getting both of the healers' heals, as well as a, what is it called? Let me full screen this. An altar. What I typically will try to do is I'll Igneous, and then I'll Green Dragon's Blood myself up. After that, I take the synergy of the Blood Altar, and then at that point, the healer should be able to top you off. So let's see what they do. So they go in, get close, took it. Okay, they got a barrier. I guess that works too. But if you don't want to solo hold like this person's doing, you can swap off. And what that does is the other tank would come and take your spot, and then you would go into where your group is healing. I would highly recommend you staying back, especially if she spawns Kite, and then coming forward once you get hit by that Baneful. Try to not hold, like as you saw that right there. As much as possible, don't hold that shock, because as a tank, you're going to be hitting people bar swap for a lot more than yourself. And that's pretty much it for DK main tanking, or just main tanking in general. You can main tank on any class that you want. I would highly recommend DK's, Wardens, or Sorks. I'd say Warden is hands down the easiest class to do it on, so if you're learning, they just have so much self-healing, as well as a shield that makes it so you take 0 damage from Pokeballs. Sork is another one of those that their bound armaments just takes so much damage that it's ridiculous, and they have a little dinosaur dude that runs around with them and heals them for a ridiculous amount. DK is a little bit harder, but still it's not too bad, as well as DKs provide a lot more buffs than most of the other classes do. You can do other tanks as well, like Necro downstairs. No, it's a lot harder since there's no defensive stuff. I've never Templar tanked, so I have no clue what they even do, and I've never Blade tanked. So, but that's pretty much tanking.